Welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
And this is Questions, Coffee, and Cars 211. How do you get questions in?
Follow along on Instagram at Motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday, I put a post out asking for questions. Once we gather them, the post is deleted and we start the show.
Time now for Questions, Coffee, and Cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
I'm 62 and have an SUV, so don't need carrying capacity. I want a fun car with a manual, Civic Si or GTI. And he's talking 2023 to 2024 models.
There's no wrong answer there. The only thing about the SI is it has what's called rev hang. If you're not aware of what that is, when you're driving, you accelerate, you put the clutch in, the revs go up, and then they don't fall down. They hang up. They go, and you're expecting it to drop down to get into the next gear. It's one of those things that you might not notice, but if it's pointed out to you, it can be really bothersome. But there's no wrong answer with those two cars. They're both fantastic.
The thing about the GTI is it gets more features on the inside than what the SI gets, but I have a little bit more fun with the SI. I think that the GTI offers a blend of performance and comfort.
Practicality.
But I think that the SI is a little bit more engaging. That's all.
But one has more power. Like the GTI is 241 horsepower. Off the top of my head, the SI is 201. So the GTI is more powerful. It's got the hatchback form function, which I use it all the time, driving and doing errands, because it's just, I can park it anywhere. I can go to Costco. I can put flats of water in the back. It's really handy.
Love the MX-5. Do you ever think Mazda will have a British racing green with tan leather and a tan roof, just like the current 35th anniversary? Can you please ask your friends over at Mazda?
Didn't we ask them?
We did ask them, and they felt that because it's a Japanese company and the green is a British racing green, that it wouldn't make sense for them to go with that color.
They have had it in the past.
I know. That's
in
what
the
I said.
older models. So if you're not aware, with the last generation of the kind of rounded Miata, they said that was too much like the British style sports cars like the MGBs and vehicles like that. And the British racing green would fit perfectly on that. With the latest MX-5, with the edgier design, they wanted it to be for the next generation of younger buyers. So I think they probably look at British racing green with a tan interior as the old, appealing to an older crowd.
They use the example Japanese versus British, but I have to say I would love it. I think it would look absolutely gorgeous. I think that anniversary model is really beautiful. It's sophisticated looking. I have no regrets with us buying our MX-5 with the brighter red and the Recaro seats with the gray interior, but it definitely looks beautiful, and I think a lot of people would love the green. So in today's vehicle pricing environment, with cost of cars being so high and cost of used cars being hidden to new car cost and cost of ownership rising, is leasing the better choice, at least in Canada?
Well, it brings down your monthly payments. So what you're doing is we'll pick round numbers. It's just easy to say $40,000 car, and then the residual value after 4 years or 3 years is $20,000. So you're paying for that $20,000 depreciation. You have the option to buy it out at the end for the additional $20,000 that is still owed on the car. So a lot of people like having a new car under warranty, sort of like a known payment that they can rely on every single month. So many people have car payments anyway. They think to themselves, well, I might as well have a newer car.
And you also defer the tax when you lease as well. But I think it just depends on the person. Some people just don't like leasing. They prefer, if they have the money, just to buy it out. Some prefer to finance it in another way versus leasing because they're getting better interest rates, whatever sort of bank that they're dealing with. So I think it just depends on the individual. I like leasing because if you have any problems with the vehicle over the 3-year period and you absolutely despise it, or you feel like you have a lemon, you can just give it back.
At the end of the lease.
Can you suggest me a budget-friendly, value-for-money, reliable, and good-looking car SUV for a family of 5? It is mostly for city trips, 85 to 90%, and I prefer to keep my cars for 14 to 15 years. I'll be driving 300 to 400 kilometers a week.
Well, I'm just going to go back to the best car on the road is the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. For a family of 5, I'm sure you're not taking all 5 people all the time, but you could put 3 in the back. And it's great on gas. It's bulletproof reliability, and it's going to just do the job. The trick is getting one, finding one, getting one. But it isn't budget. It's not overly expensive, but it's not budget either.
No, I think you have to get into the subcompact class if you want something that's more budget friendly, or if you go into a car like the Nissan Altima. But I don't know how big your family is, how tall they are, how old your kids are they still growing? But I think that there are options for budget friendly. It's just all about comfort level.
Or used. You can buy a used RAV4 Hybrid.
Yes.
You could buy a used Corolla Cross Hybrid. I think for a family of 5, I think you need compact SUV size.
Yeah.
Right?
Or bigger.
Yeah, but the bigger you go, the higher the bill. So I think you could get on the large side of the compact utilities, which would be like a RAV4, a CRV. A CRV is also a good one. They're not too hard on gas, and they're big.
CRV is expensive, more so than the RAV4, because the RAV4 has more trims. In Canada, you can get into a base model RAV4 for around $30,000 Canadian, which still might be expensive for you. Have you considered something like a used Honda Pilot or a used Honda Passport? The Passport is a large 5-passenger vehicle, and that might do the trick for you.
Hard on gas, though.
Hard on gas,
if you're driving it in the city, it's going to be brutal on gas. The other one you could go is talking about, Andrea suggested something bigger. You could go for the last generation Toyota Highlander Hybrid, which had the V6 hybrid. It was not a lot of fun to drive, but it was bulletproof too.
And fairly good on gas, of course, being a hybrid. 321 Lexus RX 500H.
Lexus RX 500H.
Or Acura MDX Type S, regardless of the third row. So sounds like he doesn't really need a third row. So RX 500H, the more powerful
Full
hybrid, or the MDX Type S.
Well, this is a tough one, but I got my answer. Your answer? 3, 2, 1.
RX.
MDX.
The reason why I chose the RX is just the fuel economy on that MDX Type S, and even the regular MDX is not good.
Well, if you're at that snack bracket, though, Andrea, maybe they're not too concerned about how much the fuel costs. Just guessing. But the MDX Type S is... The problem is, then you start getting in, you're almost at X5 money, right? You're almost at X5 money. And then if you're close to X5 money, get an X5. I do like the MDX as a unique situation. It's got the air suspension, it's got the Brembo brakes, it's got the turbo engine. It's just really drives very, very well. The RX is quite good too, though. Remember, we were in Toronto. We were there for an auto show, and they gave us an RX to drive while we were there.
Yeah.
And we were driving. We went shopping. Then we go to Yorkdale Mall.
Yeah, we did. It was an outdoor mall.
No.
Was it indoor?
Yeah, indoor. It was winter.
I feel like we went walking around. No, but I feel like with the RX, we parked. I remember I can see it in my head. We parked in this area. Oh, no, you know what we did? I think we just went to that mall to use the washroom. That's what it was. And it was an outdoor kind of mall.
Anyway, so we drove on the 400 series highways in Toronto, and we're driving it, and we're like, that's such a nice car on the highway. So I don't know. I could be swayed either way. But MDX is a unique proposition. It's too expensive.
Yeah, I think, well, the 500H isn't inexpensive either, but I just feel like resale value on the Lexus would be better. The future is really about saving money on fuel. Like, you can see the market has spoken. People are interested in hybrids, and although that doesn't get like stellar fuel economy compared to the RX, a less powerful hybrid, but it's still better than the MDX.
If you're at that price point, look at an X5.
I'm looking to trade my 2022 Honda Civic for a luxury SUV. My options are either the NX350, NX350H, GLC, GV70, Q5. Which would you recommend? Any other options? I've been told the X3 is no longer being shipped to Canada due to tariffs. Just so you know, the X3 and the X5 are back on shipping to Canada.
Paying the tariff. So hold on to your wallet. I guess back to the last person. Maybe if there's an X5 that hasn't had the tariffs. But I just remember reading on automotive news saying that BMW is just going to have to bite the bullet and bring the cars in. Those are two of their mainline cars. What are you going to do? You can't sell an X3 or an X5?
I know.
It's like that's their big part of their business. So you've got all the main players there. You've got the NX gas and hybrid. You've got the, what were the other ones?
GLC from Mercedes.
Mercedes-Benz, and then
GV70,
the GV70.
and the new Q5, I assume.
Yeah, we
Saw
haven't
the
driven
new
the
Q5 on the road.
Haven't driven the Q5. If you're not aware, Audi doesn't support us here on the West Coast at all. Audi Canada when it comes to press vehicles. So we're going to have to beg, borrow, and steal one from a dealer for a day or so. So stick around for that. But that's the situation. I think it's terrible that Audi doesn't support anybody outside of Toronto. But there you go. I would say the best overall round value is the Genesis.
Boy, beautiful interior, handles incredibly well, whether you get the 2.5T or the 3.5T. I really like that product. The only thing I hear about is residual value is not great on that model. But other than that, gosh, it's really a beautiful one. If you want a model that's going to be more fuel efficient, then obviously the NX Hybrid is the way to go.
But also a little on the smaller side, right? So the Mercedes is the traditional luxury of the bunch. That's the one that's the really just ultra smooth and quiet and all that kind of stuff, which might be your whole thing. This is a perfect example of what you need to do now. Ball back on your side of the court. You got to go and get in them and drive them and put some seat time in and see what you like. There is no wrong answer with all of these. They all have high and low points, but what are the high and low points for you and what can you basically live with? And often the tie comes down to how much is it a month?
Yeah, for sure. And also consider the GLC plug-in hybrid. Great range.
And good starting price.
Oh, good starting price. And so smooth and refined. Like that GLC now, Mercedes-Benz has tuned it for comfort. Hey guys, love the show. My dad has a 2025 Civic Touring Hybrid, and I have a 2025 Accord Sport Hybrid. And he brought up an interesting question. At what point, using the paddles on the steering wheel for regen braking, do the brakes actually kick in to slow the car down, or just the electric motor recovering energy?
Well, it's a combination, and this is the real tricky part for brands to do. And we found when we drove the EQ models from Mercedes-Benz when they first came out. So what we drove the EQS. We were in Denver, and we drove it, and we said, now the brakes are like all over the place. You don't know if they're going to grab, and then all of a sudden they grab. So they're trying to use regen as much as they can, which is using the electric motor to make electricity, and then the friction brakes grab. So that process of going from the electric motor to the friction brakes is a science. And Mercedes has definitely improved it. Remember that we drove the G-Wagon electric? Wasn't an issue. But when and where that you go from regen to friction brakes, the engineers would have to tell you that.
As far as I understand, it's a little bit different in pure electric vehicles than it is in hybrids, and not many hybrids are offered with paddle shifters. That's kind of unique as far as I understand to Honda. I'm trying to think of another hybrid that has a paddle shifter, and I can't remember. And as far as I understand with the Civic and the Accord, is that it's all the electric motor. Because the vehicle never comes to a complete stop, there's no need to put the brakes on. It is different with pure electric vehicles. Those vehicles do come to a complete stop. And we've driven many electric vehicles where I've said to Zach, when I've got it on the lowest, I'm using the paddle shifters and the lowest regen, and the vehicle's coming to a stop, that the brake lights do go on.
So if you're just driving along and then you're lifting off the throttle and then you start to feel that braking sensation, that's just electric motors. What I'm talking about is going from that to applying the brakes. So is there more regen creating that brake force? Well, I think it's a combination of that and the friction brakes are doing it. So like I said, you'd have to get an engineer and get a beer in him, and hopefully he could explain it.
I'm back in the car market after 9 years, currently driving a 2017 Civic EX. We have a 2017 Civic.
We have an
It's
EX
been
too.
great.
Yeah.
Since I'm returning to on-site work and will be commuting about 70 miles daily, I'm looking for a hybrid SUV. Could you recommend some good options? I'm particularly curious about the Lexus NX, as I'd like to try something in the luxury segment without sacrificing resale value.
Well, you just nailed it. You
Yep.
just did the review right there. You're going to get a hybrid, you're going to get a luxury vehicle, and you're going to get great resale. That's where the NX plays.
You got it. Love the show. Thanks. I'd like to ask how the 2026 Kia Sportage Hybrid can put out 5 extra horsepower than the 2025 model with the same 1.6-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged powertrain. Moreover, could this change impact long-term reliability for better or worse? So that 1.6-liter turbo is the same. It's the electric motor that is slightly more powerful that you are getting the 5 extra horsepower. So I wouldn't really worry about reliability on that.
When they say you get more, I'm like, great, I'll take it. Which car was that? The Sportage?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we just drove one a few weeks ago.
So
It's
good.
great. It's such a good vehicle. It is so good.
Good.
They know what they're doing when it comes to overall package.
They do.
Actually, to be honest with you, Andrea, the NX guy, the last one, there's absolutely the right answer for you. But you would be shocked if you drove an NX hybrid and then you got in that Kia and drove that. You would maybe even think that the Kia was more luxurious.
Yeah, and just so quiet and refined. Give it a shot. Try it. See what you think. If the badge is important to you because you want a more premium option, I get it.
But he also wants
But
the
try it.
resale. He did say resale
Did
was
say
a big part of
resale,
it. So I would say that yes, I think the NX is the right answer for you. I'm just saying as an exercise to go from the Lexus store to the Kia store and then drive them back to back, you would be shocked by how good the Kia is.
And also sounds like this person keeps the vehicle for a longer period of time. So maybe the Lexus is the way to go. It is smaller than the Kia, but you might find that the pitch of the seats in the rear of the NX, Zach and I have sat back in the NX many times and we found it to be really comfortable.
I can't wait for the Genesis to come with the hybrid. So for them to actually have a real luxury mark with a hybrid system to go up against Lexus.
Totally.
And to go up against Lincoln. I'm just trying to think of other brands that have hybrids that are luxury.
Not many.
Those are the two.
Yeah.
So it will be great when they finally pull that off and get a updated or new GV70, for example, that's a hybrid. That'd be fantastic.
Now, some of the other premium like Volvo or
They're plug-ins.
luxury brands are either plug-in hybrids or the mild hybrid with the 48-volt mild hybrid system. So a little bit different than what Lexus and what Lincoln is offering with the Nautilus.
Okay, so question for you, Andrea. How do questions come into your telephone?
Well, follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday I put a post out asking for questions. Once we gather them, the post is deleted and we start the show. Thanks for participating and all your great questions.
I have why do we still call it a phone? Because the phone is what we use the least on it.
True.
It started
True.
out as a hello.
It's almost like a small tablet.
Yeah, it's a computer in your pocket. So it's just one of those things that we still call it a phone, but it's really a camera.
Can make calls.
But it should a texting device,
Yeah.
internet web browser, but we still call it a phone.
It's amazing what this little device does now, and you can connect it to your car and have all of your apps on the screen. We have certainly come a long way from the BlackBerry days. By the way, that movie is fantastic.
The
if you haven't seen
the
it.
BlackBerry movie's good, but also people still miss the CD player, Andrew.
I
They still
know.
like that.
They still say that. When's the CD player coming back for my collection?